Hey, so y'all have heard of lobsters, right? Yeah, those little funky things, the things that look like bugs, but they're really big for some reason, and they live in the ocean. Anyways, I was sitting with my friends, we were having some ramen, and I was like, I want to do YouTube. Like, not gaming, just like real life stuff. And as a joke, my friend was like, lobster pranks. And we all just sat there like, okay, that's really stupid. Why would we ever do that? But then I was like, wait a second. There's a Publix. There's a grocery store right next to us, and they have lobsters. And I told them we got to get a lobster. We just got to get a live lobster, like a living lobster. And then my friends were like, okay. So we went, and then turns out Publix says, oh no, we don't have lobsters anymore. We stopped having them years ago, but I swear I remember them having them. There's someone hiding the lobsters in the back. Anyway, so my friend ends up calling a bunch of seafood restaurants like Red Lobster, and he's like, hey, I need a live lobster stat. My dad has a party tomorrow, and if he doesn't have one, he will explode. And they're like, nope, sorry, store policy, can't sell a lobster. So we thought we were out of luck. Oops. I ignore that. So we thought we were out of luck, right? Until the next day, when we realized there's this Asian grocery store. It's called H Mart. It's near us, and they sell seafood, live seafood, one of them being lobster. So I was like, guys, we have to go to H Mart. We got to get ourselves a lobster. And they're like, why? No one could sell it to us. But I was like, H Mart, guys, it's got lobsters. And they're like, oh, you're right. So we ended up going to H Mart, and we're like, huh, look at all these lobsters. And there was this one lobster in the third tank that was really energetic. So my friend went up to the guy, and he's like, can we get a lobster from the third tank, please? And the worker's like, okay, sure. He starts shoveling a bunch of live lobsters into this giant plastic bag, and we were confused because we only wanted one. We thought he was going to give us an option to choose from or something. And then he was like, 13 lobsters all ready for you. And we're like, no, we want one lobster, not 13. What kind of guy would give a bunch of teenagers 13 live lobsters? Anyways, what's this guy doing? I'm gonna get you. Knock over. Oh. Anyways, we ended up getting one lobster, and it was awesome. We took it back to the car, and his name was Lobby. That's it. His, her, whatever. You'll find out soon's name. So then we're like, okay, now we have a lobster. What do we do with a lobster? No one just has a lobster unless they're gonna cook it. But I didn't want to cook it. I don't like lobster. So we had a lobster, and you can't return it. You can't chuck it in a bathtub. It needs salt water, but it can live in air. I made the same mistake. It can live in air for 5 days. So we weren't torturing it. It was just kind of sitting there in the car next to me for a bit, and then we're like, you know what? Let's take this lobster on an adventure. The best adventure a lobster will ever had before their destined death. And we're like, okay, it's a Saturday. We all got time. Let's take this lobster on an adventure. First thing we did, we went into Publix. We needed bags, bags so we could pick up the lobster and not get hurt. Went to Publix, got gloves. Did I say bags? I meant gloves. We got gloves. And then I'm back in the car. And then we're like, okay, we have gloves. We can hold a lobster. We can take it places. Now what? And we were like, I'm hungry. So I went to Dunkin' Donuts with my friends and Lobby. Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts. And we brought the lobster in, and it chose the donut for me. And the workers there were like, is that a live lobster? And I was like, yeah, his name's Lobby. And then some people pet it, I think. They took pictures, and the lobster chose what kind of donut I would get. I put its face up to the glass. I'm like, pick a donut, Lobby. And of course it's a lobster. It can't move outside of water. So it was just kind of sitting there making clicky noises. I think it was mad at me. So then we got some food, and now we're like, okay, now what? We went to Dunkin'. We have a lobster, and we have food. What's next? And we decided we should go to the Starbucks drive-thru and give it a pup cup, which is it's meant for pets. You're supposed to give it to your dog. It's like a bunch of whipped cream in a tiny cup. And we're like, hey, it would be hilarious if we got a pup cup, but for a lobster. So we drove over to the Starbucks drive-thru, and we're like, hey, can I get a pup cup? And they're like, sure. Then we pull up to the window. with an entire lobster in my hands, and they were speechless. The lady there, she was like, okay. She saw the lobster. We like held it up to the car window. She was like, hey, thanks for the pup cup for Lobby here. You know, he was really hungry today. So Lobby got his pup cup, and he actually ate it. Like, I put it up to his face, he grabbed it and brought it closer to him. I think I have pictures. I'll show them up on the screen. So after that, we're like, okay, we got a pup cup. Lobby's happy. Now what? What can make a lobster even more happy? Where do pets go? And we were like, I know. The pet store. Yeah. So we went to the pet store, and there's a rule where you can bring any animal in as long as it's well behaved. And Lobby was really well behaved. Lobby was so chill. So we go into the pet store holding a lobster, and there's a bunch of people with dogs and everything. And we were like, what does Lobby want? A bed. Lobby needs a dog bed. So we got Lobby a dog bed. I'll show a picture up on screen. And we were walking around. People were like, is that a real lobster? And we're like, yeah, his name's Lobby. He's so chill. And as we were checking out for the bed, we found like the chew toys that dogs have. And one of them was a lobster. So we were like, you know what? Lobby needs a friend. So we got Lobby a friend. We bought one of those like dog toys that was a lobster. I think I have a pic of that too. I'll show that on screen. And people are like, is that a real lobster? We're like, yeah. I think I said that before. Anyways, and then we exited Petco or PetSmart, whatever the store was, and we started walking down the shopping center holding a lobster on a bed. And there was a Target, and we didn't buy anything from Target, but we walked around, and there was some like middle schoolers, and they're like, what is that? And I was like, a lobster. So then I let them pet the lobster because it was awesome. It's a lobster. You don't see that every day. And then we headed over to the park. And as we arrived, parking was full, so we had to wait until there was one more spot. And it was full because they had a baseball game, like a bunch of junior league baseball games, like 5 baseball games going on at the same time. There's a bunch of kids running around. So we casually walked on through. We want to get him wet. We want to put him under the sink because I don't know if lobsters need to be moist to not be in pain out of water. So I just want to be careful. I don't want to torture this thing. I want to give it the best life, not the worst life. So we walked through a bunch of people. They were just staring at us like we were crazy. A lot of them try to like avoid eye contact. I don't know. Maybe they're scared of lobster tamers. So we ended up going to this park bathroom, and there was this old guy that walked in, and he saw that. He's like, "Hey, you gotta leave that in the women's restroom. It'll be hilarious." We were like, haha, yeah, but we didn't do that because I'm a dude. I'm not allowed in the women's restroom. Anyways, it would be funny to just see a lobster like in the toilet. So anyways, we exited the bathroom. Lobby got all moist, and we started walking down to like the games were all ending, right? So all the kids were coming out, and some were going at the playground that was at the park. So we're like, hey, Lobby needs fun at the park. So we went over to the park, and I put Lobby on some swings, pushed him around. He had fun. I didn't want to push him down a slide because he probably would tumble and die. And so we put him on the swings. Like really little kids came up, and they're like, "Ew, what is that?" And I was like, "I found this in the bathroom." And they're like, "Ew." So then I let him pet Lobby. And my friend was like, try to convince your parents that you pet a lobster at the park. There was no way any parent would be convinced that. I'm gonna get this guy. I'm getting you. Oh, I failed. So kids pet Lobby at a park. And then it was time. We've had Lobby for like 4 hours at that point. And I didn't know how long they can last outside of water. Like, it was still moving. It was still alive. It was fine. It was making clicky noises, which is probably telling me to get off because it was mad. But all lobsters have a destiny. Oh yeah, fun lobster fact. They don't die of natural causes. I mean, of old age. They don't die of old age. They always die from a predator. And humans are one. So my friend is a really good cook. So we went to his house. Actually, no. Before we went to his house for the lobster's destiny, we got a cooler and some ice in it, and we put the lobster in there so it would fall asleep, because I didn't want it to feel pain. Because here's the thing about lobsters. If you put a lobster in there, it will fall asleep. Because it would fall asleep. Because I didn't want it to feel pain. Because here's the thing about lobsters. If you put a lobster in there, it will fall asleep. Because I didn't want it to feel pain. Because here's the thing about lobsters. If you put a lobster in there, it will fall asleep. Because I didn't want it to feel pain. Because here's the thing about lobsters. If you put a lobster in there, it will fall asleep. Because I didn't want it to feel pain. Because here's the thing about lobsters. If you put a lobster in there, it will fall asleep. Because I didn't want it to feel pain. Because here's the thing about lobsters. If you put a lobster in there, it will fall asleep. Because I didn't want it to feel pain. Because here's the thing about lobsters. If you put a lobster in there, it will fall asleep. Because I didn't want it to feel pain. Because here's the thing about lobsters. If you have to cook them, and in order to cook them, they have to be alive. Like 5 seconds, like they have to be alive like 5 seconds before you cook it, or else you'll get like diseases. So we wanted the lobster to be asleep for its instant death. So we put it in a cooler, put some ice in it so it would fall asleep and then like be numb and all that. And by the way, lobsters are just wet bugs. They're literally just like goo inside until you cook it. So they don't have like a nervous system. They're fine. So we went to our friend's house. And then he took out the lobster, and when the other friends were outside, because we're not cooks and don't want to see a lobby's end, my friend dealt with the lobster, and then we had lobster rolls. And not gonna lie, they were really good. And I think it's because we gave the lobster the best life possible before it was consumed. So yeah, if you ever buy lobster where you have to like kill it right when you eat it, give it the best life like Lobby. Hashtag rip Lobby, but yeah, rip Lobby, bro. But hey, it is what it is. It's a circle of life. You know, lobster, pup cup to lobster roll. Thanks for watching.